Just weeks ago, Aston Martin looked finished. In Spa, their car was the slowest on the grid. Yet, days later in Hungary, Fernando Alonso crossed the line in fifth with genuine pace. The turnaround shocked fans, the paddock, and even Alonso himself. His reaction? It's a surprise. A pleasant surprise, but worrying because we don't know why. That statement alone reveals Aston Martin's fragile reality. They stumbled into performance gains, not engineered them with confidence. In Formula One, luck doesn't win championships. If Aston doesn't understand the root cause of its newfound speed, then repeating it consistently is impossible. And if Alonso, the driver with over 2 decades of experience, is puzzled, what does that say about the technical grasp inside the team? Progress without clarity isn't progress at all. It's blind fortune, and fortune doesn't last in F1. So what changed? The big upgrade was a new front wing, with a subtle but crucial slot gap between the wing and the nose. It may sound minor, but in F1, airflow defines everything. That slot improved how air feeds under the floor into the diffuser, the engine room of modern downforce. Suddenly, Aston Martin had a car that gripped better in Hungary than it did just days earlier. But here's the catch. The team themselves admitted they aren't sure if that wing alone produced the performance. Could it be track-specific? Could it be a fluke? If the team cannot isolate the exact aerodynamic cause, then the upgrade is more of a mystery than a breakthrough. In F1, every gain must be measurable, repeatable, and scalable. Without that, Aston risks chasing shadows while rivals like McLaren and Mercedes continue with methodical, data-driven progress. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Fernando Alonso is 44 years old. Yes, he's still brilliant, still sharp, but the margins in Formula One are brutal. Younger drivers adapt faster to regulation changes, push the car harder, and recover quicker. Alonso's experience is invaluable, but is he the man to lead Aston into a brand new engine era in 2026? Or will he be exposed when the physical and mental demands of racing with heavier hybrid cars intensify? Aston Martin is gambling on a driver closer to retirement than peak performance. Fans love the Alonso underdog story, but history shows that when new eras arrive, it's the younger generation, Hamilton in 2007, Verstappen in 2015, and Leclerc in 2019, who set the pace. Is Aston playing too much faith in a legend who may not be able to deliver when it matters most? Then there's Lance Stroll, the owner's son. He has the money, the backing, and guaranteed job security, but does he have the talent to fight world champions? Year after year, Lance has failed to prove he belongs at the sharp end. His flashes of brilliance are rare, and his inconsistencies are glaring. Let's be real. If his last name wasn't Stroll, would he still be in F1? Probably not. And yet he occupies a seat in a team that claims to have championship ambitions. For Aston Martin, this is the harshest contradiction. How can they present themselves as title contenders when one of their drivers is, bluntly, a paid driver? Every point lost to Lance is a point their rivals, Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren, will gladly take. No matter how much Lawrence Stroll invests, money can't buy his son raw pace. Looking forward, Aston Martin has tied its entire future to Honda for 2026. On paper, that sounds promising. Honda powered Red Bull to multiple championships. But remember, Honda also has a history of disastrous returns, from the McLaren-Honda nightmare to sudden exits from F1. They are brilliant when committed, but fickle when pressured. What happens if Aston Martin struggles out of the gate in 2026? Will Honda stay loyal, or will they cut ties? And let's not forget, Honda engines are only going to Aston. Exclusivity sounds great, but it also means there's no safety net, no comparison, no other team feeding back data. If the Honda unit misfires, Aston Martin sinks alone. Did Aston senior Lawrence Stroll just bet the house on an unstable partner while rivals hedge their risks with broader partnerships? Here's the real irony. Aston Martin has Adrian Newey now, the greatest designer in F1 history. They have Honda, a proven world champion engine supplier. They have money, facilities, and ambition. But then you look closer. An aging Alonso, a pay driver in Stroll, and an engineering department that sometimes doesn't understand why its own upgrades work. It's a team of contradictions. Aston Martin wants to be Red Bull, but Red Bull built their dynasty on ruthless decisions. Vettel over Webber, Verstappen over Ricciardo, constant data-driven risk-taking. Aston, by contrast, clings to sentiment, keeping Lance Stroll because of his father and Alonso because of nostalgia. You can't buy a championship. You have to earn it with flawless execution. And right now, Aston Martin looks like a team trapped between ambition and reality. The 2026 regulation changes will be the biggest reset in years. Lighter chassis, radical active aero, and engines with a much larger hybrid component. This will shake the order and expose any weakness in team structure, driver lineup, or technical philosophy. If Aston Martin is already struggling to understand their 2025 upgrades, what will happen when the entire concept of F1 cars changes? Will Alonso still adapt? Will Stroll cope? Will Honda deliver under pressure? Or will Aston Martin collapse under the weight of expectations, remembered only as a team that promised a title but couldn't deliver when the reset came? History tells us that only the most ruthless, disciplined, and data-driven outfits survive regulation upheavals. Can Aston honestly say they are one of them? So here's the harsh truth. Aston Martin's dream might already be flawed. A mysterious step forward in Hungary doesn't erase the fact they don't fully understand their car. A legendary driver past his prime and a pay driver without the talent to contend won't carry them to titles. And an exclusive Honda deal could either be their golden ticket or their biggest mistake. Right now, Aston Martin is a story of contradictions. Money without consistency, ambition without ruthlessness, progress without understanding. The question is simple. Are they building the foundation of a future champion, or are they setting themselves up for another chapter in F1's long history of overhyped failures? Fans will have to decide whether Aston Martin is the next Red Bull or the next Jaguar.